Hello there, my name is Beth Gaff and I'm the Media Literacy Coordinator here at the Peabody Public Library, and I want to congratulate you on taking the first steps on learning some computer skills and some different programs and softwares that are offered to you. This class is geared to go at your pace, which means that you can go as slow as you want, fast as you want, minimize, come back to it, however you want to do it. That's what this class is designed for. And also, if you are a part of my Computer Class Pass incentive program, you're going to want to take some time so you can listen for that secret code that's within this class and get it written down and to me so I can get you counted for the class. If you're not familiar with this program, please email me or contact me so I can give you some more instructions so you can get started on winning some prizes and having some fun with computers. So without further ado, let's get started with Microsoft Word Intermediate Basic. Just like any other class you might have, you're going to be hearing some terms that you may not be completely familiar with. So the next few slides within the video are going to have some terminology for you, and we're just going to kind of go over those right now together. And the first one is bold, which is a font style that makes text appear in a darker type. Cut is a command in Word that removes selected text from the original location and places the deleted text in a clipboard collection. Copy is a command used to duplicate a document. Paste is a command to take a copied document and place it somewhere else. Italics is printed in or using characters that slope to the right. An underline is a way of formatting text that adds a straight line below the text. The ribbon is a screen element that displays the buttons for accessing Office features and commands. And that red underline means the flag text is not actually in the Word dictionary. Save As is a feature that allows the user to change the attributes of a file, such as its location, name, and type, before actually saving it completely. The Home tab is your primary tab. This contains the more frequently used commands. Your File or your Office button is a collection of data stored in one unit. It's identified by a file name. It can be a document, a picture, audio or video stream, data library, application, or any other type of collection of data. A green underline indicates that the text may be incorrect grammatically. The word Help, this is where you would find answers to questions and displays information about various topics. And your page layout, this is the way the text, graphics, size, and space are organized on a document page. Your font size, that's the height of the characters in points. Clip art, this is a feature that includes pre-made illustrations, drawings, pictures, and other graphic that can be inserted into a document. Your word art is a supplementary application that can be used to manipulate text into shapes. For instance, you can make a phrase or a sentence from a circle. A text box is a rectangular drawing object in which text or graphic images can be inserted and positioned anywhere on a page. Orientation, this is the changing of the angle in which the data will be displayed. This actually will change from portrait or landscape are your orientations. Word count, this is to find out the number of words or characters, paragraphs, and lines in a document. You can also find this on the status bar. If you took the Microsoft Word Basic class, then you already know how to identify your icon and how to pull it up. So this is just kind of a refresher to let you know how you can actually open up Microsoft Word. And one way to open up Microsoft Word is in that first picture with the big red arrow. Usually on your desktop, because that's a picture of your desktop, you will have an icon that will show you Microsoft Word. It might actually say Microsoft Office, and it'll have more files within it. For this picture, they've just used the icon for Microsoft Word. So they could double click on that and it would open up a new document for them. If for some reason you do not have this shortcut on your desktop, and that's what this is called, a shortcut, you could actually create it from your Start menu. So you could go to your Start menu, which is down there indicated with the pink arrow, and hit All Programs. You can either click that All Programs or you can just scroll your mouse over it. Either way, it's going to pull up a menu next to it. You can find Microsoft Office, click on Microsoft Office, and it's going to bring up all the files within Microsoft Office. We're using Microsoft Office Word. So we would actually go down to Microsoft Office Word instead of the Excel that's highlighted, and then we could send it to our desktop and create a shortcut. So by hitting Start, All Programs, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office Word 2007 or 2010, 2013, whatever version you have, you can send it directly to your desktop by creating a shortcut. Now, if you just want to open it from that location and not create a shortcut, then you just wouldn't send to. You would double-click on Microsoft Office Word when you get to that menu, and then it would open up automatically. Why don't you take a moment right now and pause this video and go ahead and identify where your icon is, double-click it, and I want you to try to also do this Start Menu option and go in there that way as well. So go ahead, take a moment right now and give that a try. If you have a computer class pass, your secret code is Intermediate Word Fun. Make sure you get me this information so I can get you marked down for the class. So by clicking on that icon or going in through your Start menu and finding it through the Microsoft Office file, you have now created a document. This slide here shows you creating and typing a document. Up there to the very first picture to our left, we can see the Office button by the green arrow indicated. The picture next to it is exactly the same thing. The only difference is that they're using a different version of Microsoft Word. So for your version, you may have the Office button, which is the picture to the left, or you may have the File button, which is the picture to the right. Both commands do the same thing. So if you hit the Office button or you hit the File button, you're going to get the same menu. Now to the right, we can see indicated below in the picture how they're typing a document. Very easy. It's already open for us, and we can just type using our keyboard anything we want. Why don't you go ahead and pause this video right now and minimize it. Open up your Word document if you don't have it open already. Indicate whether you have the Office button or the File button. You can click on those. You can't hurt them. It's not going to do anything except show you a menu. And then when you're done kind of playing around with that, go ahead and go to the body of your paper, which is indicated to the right by that lower green arrow, and there's also a black arrow there, and just type yourself a sentence, a paragraph, just type something to yourself. Go ahead, give it a try. Okay, now that you have mastered being able to find out where Microsoft Word is, how you can create a shortcut for it, how you can create a new document and type on that document, now we're ready to do something a little bit different. We're going to be using a lot of the highlighting feature today, and the highlighting feature is good for a lot of different things. First off, it's going to change everything within our highlighted area for us, so we don't have to retype things. So to highlight and edit, you would place your cursor on the area that you want to change. So on the right, to the right, you can see this picture. They've typed out their entire paragraph the way that they want it to be, and they've decided that there's something about it that they want to change. So they've placed their mouse down at the point where they want to change it. They've left-clicked their mouse, and they have drug it all the way across and up. And once you do this, you're going to see it all highlighted in blue. And you can see it indicated by that picture. Now all your changes can be made. It's very simple to do, and it's a lot easier than retyping a bunch of information that you already have in there. So why don't you try the highlighting feature? And by highlighting feature, I mean I want you to place your cursor to the area that you want to change. So now you have a document already typed out, a paragraph or something that we did from the slide before. So you should have some information on your paper. Why don't you go ahead right now, whether it's just one sentence or an entire paragraph like the picture is shown, and just highlight an area. And you'll do that by putting your cursor in the area that you want to change. You're going to left click, keep it held down, and drag your mouse across and all the way up to the top until you're done highlighting, and then you'll let go of that left click and you'll see the highlight rip right before your eyes. So go ahead and pause this and highlight an area within your paragraph that you've already created. If you haven't created something, go ahead and do that at this time and try this highlighting function, because we're going to be using this highlighting function quite a bit throughout the program today. So go ahead, give it a try. Using the highlighting feature is going to make a world of difference to us when we're ready to do a lot of the things we're going to be doing in class today. So I'm glad that you had a moment to be able to play around with the highlighting feature so you're able to change some items without retyping. One thing that the highlighting feature is good for is for our font pane. And we're going to be using that right now. So in that paragraph that you have typed up for yourself, if you haven't, please do so, just something brief. You're going to highlight an area that you want to change. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be one word. It could be an entire sentence. It could be the whole paragraph. It doesn't really matter. And remember, to highlight, we're going to left click on that area, and we're going to keep that mouse left clicked down, and we're just going to drag it across and up and however far over we want it to be. So in this situation, we want to change the font color. Okay? So that very top left picture there has an A, and there's a green arrow pointing to it. That A is letting us know that we are going to change the font color to a red. And we know it's red because underneath the A is red. If we don't want it to be red, then we can click that right arrow next to the A, and it's going to drop down a menu for us. And you can see that menu indicated underneath the picture. It says automatic, theme colors, and actually more colors is circled. When you push on that arrow, it's going to pull up that little menu, and you can change your color that way. If you're not finding the color you want there, you can click on more colors, and to the right another menu will come up with a color scheme, and then you can pick a different color. Another thing that you can do with this situation is you can change the font style. So to the right, that very top right picture, we have font type and how they've changed the font. They've highlighted the area that they want to correct. They've gone to their font type, which is indicated by the arrow, and they've clicked that right arrow next to it to bring down a menu, and we can see that indicated in the picture below. And that right arrow brings down more options for more fonts. Now, what's nice about having it highlighted and what's nice about having these different menu options is that we don't actually have to click on the item that we want to see it changing. All you have to do is take your mouse and graze it across each one without pushing anything, and it's going to change that text right before your eyes to whatever that particular font type is. And that works for the colors, that works for the highlighting, that works for all of that. So you'd be able to change your fonts, your font colors, and everything just by grazing over it with your mouse. You don't have to push it. Once you actually do push it, though, that particular one that you pushed will be applied. If you don't like that and you don't want it, you can always go back in to the font style menu or to the color schemes, and you can change it. Nothing is ever permanent until you save a document. So at this point, everything that we've done can be undone. So you don't have to worry about making mistakes, too many errors, because everything you do to the document you can redo, undo, and fix. So why don't you go ahead right now and pause this video, go to your document that you have created by opening up Word, and within that paragraph, highlight an area, and I want you to change the font color, and I want you to change the font style. And you're going to do that with the font style type and the font color type, which is indicated with the A, or it's at the top next to that number there. So go ahead and give it a try and see what you can come up with. Looking further into the font pane, we can see that here we want to change our font size. Okay, Microsoft Office automatically has a default, and by default it means it's already set up a certain way. And the way that they have it set up is a certain kind of font style and a certain kind of font size. If you don't want to use what they already have set up, which most of the time people do not want to. They want to change something about it. Then you have a couple of options to do this. One way to do it is actually going to the selected font size, which is indicated there in front of you by the black arrow pointing to the 16. By highlighting the area that they want to change to make it bigger, smaller, whatever, they're able now to go into the font size and push whichever font size they want to use. This particular one is a 16-point font size. So now you can see the difference between the area that's highlighted and the area that is not highlighted. They've changed it and made it bigger. Now there's another way you can do this also. That green arrow with the red circle indicates an up and a down. That big A indicates by pushing it, it's going to make our font bigger, 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 bigger. The small a indicates that it's going to make it smaller, 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 smaller. So if you don't pick on the number exactly, you can do your grow function or you can do your shrink function. And that's what those two A's are with the green arrow and the red circle around them. So you can manually enter in the number or use your little arrow next to it and pick which number you want. Or you can use the grow and shrink function, which will do exactly the same thing. So why don't you take a minute right now and pause this video, go ahead and highlight an area, and just kind of play around with the font size a little bit. Once you understand the concept of highlighting and how you can edit with the highlight within Word, things are going to be a lot easier, trust me. And one feature that you can also use by highlighting is the bold feature. The bold feature is good for letting things stand out at you or to maybe someone that you're wanting to read your document that you've created. So to the left we can see that they have created a very simple sentence paragraph, and now they want to bold a certain area, and they have highlighted it was a cold, windy. That's all they want to bold. So they've highlighted it, and now they can go up and they can push that B, and it's going to make it stand out. And you can see that to the right in the other picture where they've highlighted an area, they've hit their bold, and now you can see the bold text. Go ahead and take a moment right now, pause this video, highlight a word or an area within your document you've created, and try this bold feature. So by now you should be getting very good at the highlighting and using the different features. And italics isn't any different. Italics is used to maybe have something stand out a little bit more where it's not quite the same. When you push italics, it's going to slant your letters to the right. So in your Home tab, next to the bold, you have an I. That's what the I stands for, is italics. And as you can see, they have highlighted an area that they just want in italics. And remember, when you highlight, the way we highlight is we take that area that we want to change, we left click on our mouse, we keep it held down, and we drag it across until we've completed the area that we want to change, and then we would undo that left button and all that area is going to be highlighted. And in this situation, they're going to use italics. So why don't you go ahead and take a moment right now, pause this video, and try the italics feature. So now that you're a master at highlighting and editing, underlining isn't any different than what we've been doing already. You're going to highlight that area that you want to underline with a special underline, and just like you've been doing, and you're going to push that underline feature. And you can see that on the picture in front of you. They have an area highlighted that they want to be underlined, and they've used a solid underline. That arrow to the right of the U will give you more options for underlining. Maybe you don't want it to be a straight line. Maybe you want dots. Maybe you want wiggles. Maybe you want dashes. Whichever one you choose, there's plenty of options with that arrow next to the U. I've also included a couple of pictures of Word 2003 and Word 2007 to kind of show you what your icon might look like or your menu option for underlining might look like versus maybe the one that I'm using in front of you. Because of the different versions, they do look a little bit different, but the function does the same thing. So why don't you take a moment now and just practice using your highlighting feature and doing the underlining, the italics, the bold, and the font size. Not only the font size, but the font color, the font, and the font layout. We're going to take this time right now and we're just going to use the entire font function. And you can see in front of you we have just a font panel, and that has our font style, our font sizes. We can shrink and grow our text, we can bold, we can italics, we can underline, and we can change the color. So go ahead right now and take a moment and just kind of play around with the highlighting feature as well as the entire font pane. Okay, so I know you had to have a good time with that because it's so fun to be able to just highlight and apply, and we don't have to do any more work. We don't have to take anything out. We don't have to retype anything. It's just so easy, and it can be so fun. So now we're going to move on to something a little bit different. We're going to talk about text boxes. And text boxes are good for inserting something that you may want to be able to move around easily for yourself. Okay? Anytime that you're going to put something into a document, it's going to be under that Insert tab. Alright, and that's indicated to the left, that top picture there. It shows you your Insert tab, which is next to your Home tab. It doesn't matter what version you have, your Insert tab is still next to your Home tab. By pushing on that, we can see that we have a text box option, which is indicated by that red arrow all the way across. And then when we push that text box option, we're going to actually get a menu that comes up that gives us different options. Now, for the purpose of what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and just click on that very first one. You would double click or just click one time and bring it up, and you can type inside of that box, and then you can move it around, you can grab it, you can put pictures in there. Anytime you want to insert something into your document, it's under your Insert tab. So that's going to be inserting a text box, that's going to be inserting a header, a footer, a picture, clip art, anything, a chart, anything that you want to go into your document or insert it into your document, you're going to use that Insert tab for. So right now I want you to pause the video, go to your Insert tab, kind of browse around through it, find your text box tab underneath the Insert, push that, see your options that come up, click on some of them, type inside your boxes, and kind of move them around a little bit. It can be a whole lot of fun, and you can use this for so many different kinds of features. Go ahead, give it a try. Well, I hope you had fun doing that because there's a lot you can do by just highlighting and clicking a button. So now we're going to move on to cut, copy, and paste. These are features that we're going to be using, or you would be using within your document quite frequently. This picture here just kind of shows you our ribbon, and it shows you where you can find these functions. On the ribbon itself, you can see that there's a paste button, a cut button, and a copy button. Another way that you can do this is by right-clicking on your mouse. So if you highlight that area that you either want to cut out or you want to copy it, you would right-click your mouse and it's going to bring you up another menu, and from that location you can also copy and cut from there too. The next few slides we're going to go into a little bit more detail of what each one of these does and how you can use them and apply them. The first thing we're going to start with is cut. And cut is very easy to use, and it's a very handy function. What you would use cut for would be, let's say, like for example, to the left we see that they have typed up an entire paragraph, and they've decided that that sentence right in the middle, they want to move it somewhere. But they don't want to retype the whole thing. So what they've done is they've highlighted it, and now in the top left they can either hit the cut button, which is indicated by the scissors, or they can right click on their mouse and you can hit cut there. What cut does is it copies it and it cuts it out of your paper. So you're not going to see it there anymore. But when you put your mouse cursor wherever it is you want to move it and you hit paste, it'll come right back up. So this would be a good if you're writing something and you decide right in the middle that, you know what, I think this sentence would be better at the end. Or maybe this sentence would be better at the beginning. So I would highlight whatever it is that I want to move. I would either right click and cut, or I would push the scissors button and cut. It's going to remove it. It's going to take it out, and it's automatically copying it for you. And then you're going to put your mouse wherever it is you wanted to move it to, and then you'll hit paste. And it's going to put that exact sentence somewhere else. So that is what the cut feature is for. The cut automatically copies it for you, and by clicking paste, it removes it and puts it somewhere different for you. So why don't you take a moment right now and try the cut feature by using the paragraph that you've already typed up that we've been using throughout the class, and highlight a sentence, or you can even highlight just one word, or however you want to do it, and use either the scissors button that's indicated with that red circle around it up in the left corner, or you can use the version that's to the right, showing you the right click option on your mouse. The right click option on your mouse can be used at any time for the cut, copy, and paste, for printing, anything like that. So that's a good feature to get into also, is using that right click for more menu options. So at this time, we're going to try to cut. So take a moment right now and pause this video and pick something out of your paragraph, and I want you to cut it, and I want to paste it somewhere else. Go ahead and try that right now. Now we're going to talk about the copy feature of Microsoft Word. And the copy feature can be used for several different purposes. One way that we can use the copy feature is if we have another document that we want specific information from, we can actually highlight that area and we can click copy, either by the button that is located at the top left of Microsoft Word right underneath the scissors, or we can right click like we did with our last one for cut and push copy. Now when you push copy, nothing's going to happen. The item is still going, the item that you highlighted will still be there. It's not going to be cut like cut was. But now we've copied it. So now I can move it to another document. So let's say that I want this information on two different documents. So to the left picture, we can see that they've highlighted a very big area, and they decided to use the right-click function of their mouse, and they hit copy. So now, when they start and they go to a Word document, they can open it, and then they click paste, and everything they highlighted and copied will paste to that document. This is good for also searching on the internet. So if you're on the internet and you find an article or something, some type of information that you want to keep a hold of, you could use the same highlighting feature by left clicking and dragging it across the information that you want, and then you would right click and you would push copy, open up your Word document, and push paste. And everything that you copy from the internet is now on a Word document for yourself. So these pictures just kind of show you the different features. We've got the to the left where they've highlighted an area and they've copied it. To the right you can see the cut, copy, and the home tab feature. Now if they took that highlighted area that they had just copied and put it on that document to our right-clicked, or even just hit that paste button, everything that was highlighted that they copied would now be pasted onto their Word document. So this is a really nice feature to have, especially when you're doing research or writing a paper for something and you need specific information. You can just use the copy feature instead of the cut, where the cut copies also, but it goes away and you don't see it. In the copy, you're still going to see it, and you can just move it to another document or move it to another program. This is very good for using for the internet, being able to copy information and pasting it into our Word document. So go ahead and take a moment right now, and we're going to use that right-click feature again on our mouse. And remember, you can use this feature for a lot of things within the program, and you can also use this feature when you're browsing around on the internet. A right-click on your mouse just gives you a whole new menu. So you should play around with that and experiment with the right-click features. Or you can go ahead and just hit the copy button, which is located in the top left of your Microsoft Word. Now, if you're getting this information off of the internet and you highlight the area you want, you're not going to have a copy button in the top area of your internet. You would have to use your right-click feature in order to copy that information to paste it somewhere else. So at this time, we're just going to use our copy feature, and that's just by highlighting and either pushing that copy button, or you can right-click and then you got to paste it somewhere. You got to put it somewhere. So go ahead and take a moment right now and pause the movie, the video here, and minimize it, and go ahead and just kind of play around with your cut and your copy feature up to this point. So we have learned a lot of information up to this point about Microsoft Word and the new functions. We've learned so far how to cut, we've learned how to copy, we've learned our font pane, we've learned about highlighting. So now we're going to talk a little bit about pasting. And with pasting, it's very easy. You would just use that with your cut feature or your copy feature, however you're using it, whether you're highlighting on the internet or you're highlighting within your own Word document. You would just right-click or push that copy button up there or the cut button and then paste. So it's very simple. If you've gotten up this far and you haven't had really many issues, then the paste feature isn't going to be any different for you. By right-clicking, that brings up a new menu, and you can see to the right, that picture to the top right, how they've right-clicked on their document and gotten that little pane up. And you can see that the cut and copy are not highlighted, and that's because there's nothing there. We haven't highlighted anything to cut it or copy it. So at this point, the only feature that we would be able to use would be paste. And the only way that that would work is if we'd copied something from somewhere else. So if you haven't copied anything, then you're not going to get that cut, copy, or that paste option. But if you've gone on the internet and you've highlighted an area that you want as a resource, and you've right-clicked and you've copied it, as soon as you come to this Word document and you right-click, that paste option is going to become available to you then. You do not have to use the right-click. You can just use the straight paste button, which is on your Home tab in the left upper corner. But it's kind of good idea to get used to using the right-click on your mouse just for more options and more menu buttons. So at this time, I want you to go ahead and pause this, and I want you to try different cut, copy, and paste features. And you can do that with the paragraph that you've created. Maybe you have internet at home and you want to get on the internet and you want to copy some information and paste it onto your document. This would be a good time to do that. So let's take a moment right now and just work on the cut, copy, and paste motions. Okay, so now we're going to get a little bit more fancier, and we're going to kind of veer out a little bit into another tab. Earlier we talked about that Insert tab where the text box was located. We're actually going to get a little bit deeper into the Insert tab. Like I was telling you before, the Insert tab is just that. It's whatever you want to insert into your document. So we can see in this top picture that we have a ribbon, and the red circle indicates our Insert tab. And within our Insert tab, we can see all of our different options that we have. And maybe you want to create a table, maybe you want to create something with shapes, maybe you want to insert a text box over a picture or something like that. This is where you would do that motion, would be in your Insert tab. The next few slides are going to be going deeper into the Insert tab, but at this time I want you just to pause this video and go into your Word document, and I want you to find your Insert tab, go ahead and click on it, and just look at the different options that you have. And you know, you can even click on some of those options just to see what the different buttons do within that tab. And remember, there's nothing at this point that you can do to this document that you cannot undo. So do not be afraid that you're going to mess something up, or it's just not going to look right, or something's not going to be right, because anything you do up to this point can be fixed and can be changed. We haven't saved anything. It's all still a new document. So at this point, anything and everything can be undone. So I just want you to explore a little bit on your ribbon the insert feature. That was fun, wasn't it? Being able to click on that insert and looking at all the different tabs within or all the buttons within the insert tab on your ribbon. We're going to go into some of those features right now. And one of them we're going to talk about is inserting a table. And the table, again, is located underneath your insert tab. And it's actually directly underneath that insert heading. And it just says table. And this would be good if you wanted to make yourself some kind of a table where maybe you're having a class and you need people to sign in, sign up, register, what have you. So by clicking on that table button, we're going to get an option, and the option's going to come up with a bunch of little squares. And we can see by using our mouse and just scrolling over the squares, we're not even really clicking anything, just by scrolling over them, how it's going to automatically show us a table. You're going to see it right before your eyes without even pushing anything, minus pushing the table button. So go ahead right now and go under that insert tab, push your table option, and see that menu come down, and just kind of explore within that table. You can, once you click it, it's going to create it. But remember, anything you do at this point, we can undo. So if you don't want it there anymore, we can undo it. It's okay. So go ahead and go to the table and just kind of browse around within that function and see how it's going to appear that table right before your eyes. Using tables is really fun, and you can do a lot with it. So I hope you had a good time being able to play around a little bit with inserting a table onto your document. We're going to move forward a little bit now, and we're going to go into inserting a picture. And again, that's going to be right underneath that insert tab that you have. And it's identified by picture. It says picture. So when you push on that picture button, it's going to actually pull up this box in front of you that you see, and it's going to try to pull pictures from your computer. So if you have pictures already on your computer, then this would be a good feature for you if you wanted to insert a picture that you've taken. Let's say that you're doing a report on dogs and you've taken a few pictures of different dogs in the neighborhood, and now you want to write a paper about it, or you just want to make a flyer about the different kinds of dogs in the neighborhood. You would have to first take your camera and put those pictures on your computer, and then once you are ready, you can insert those pictures into your Word document. And by doing that, you would go to that Insert tab, you would go to the Picture option, and then your Insert Picture dialog box would pull up, and it's going to go straight to wherever those pictures were that you put them. Microsoft Word has an automatic default that it's going to go straight to the pictures in your computer. So if you saved those pictures somewhere else, you might want to move them into pictures, because that's what's defaulted through Microsoft Word, and that's how it's going to pull it up. Can you pull it up another way? Yes, you can. You can go exactly where you put it, if you know how, and get that picture out of there. But the best way would be just to keep all your pictures in your picture file, which is located under your libraries, just like the documents and things to that effect. So, as we can see in the picture, they are now going to insert a picture. They've chosen one, they're hitting insert, and it's going to put it right where that arrow is indicating you that it's going to put it. So why don't you take a moment right now, and even though you may not have pictures necessarily that you've taken on your computer, you do have sample pictures on your computer that just come standard with all computers. So if you go to the Insert tab and you click that picture and you get the picture dialog box, it's going to pull up a sample file for you, and you can actually use those pictures within your sample file. And you can double click and insert on those, and you're going to see how that picture is going to insert itself right into your document. So go ahead and take a moment right now and try to insert a picture. Okay, so now that you know how to insert those pictures that you've been taking, or maybe you just like a picture that the computer has standard, we're going to talk about inserting clip art. And clip art is a function that is located right next to the picture under the Insert tab. Once you push that clip art function, it is going to give you another box, and that is indicated down below, and you can see to the right hand side of our Microsoft Word screen there that they have typed in balloons once they hit Insert Clip Art, that box comes up and they've typed in balloons and they've hit go. Every picture there is in Microsoft Word, and it's allowing you to choose a clip art function. So you would pick, in this situation, some type of balloon picture that you like, and you would do that by double-clicking on the balloon picture that you've chosen. And as you can see, as soon as you do that on your Word document, it's going to pull up that picture that you chose. Now, also with this function and with the picture function, you're going to now get a new tool. And that's indicated with that red circle there at the top, and I've got an arrow pointing to it. You're going to get a picture tool now. And this is going to allow you to crop it. You can change the borders if you want. You can change the color contrast of your picture or your clip art. You can do a lot of things within that picture tool. And that's going to come up every time you insert either clip art or you insert some type of picture. And you can actually click on it. It's not going to hurt anything. And you can go in and you can fix it. You can spice it up. You can change the shape of it. You can do whatever you want to that clip art or your picture to make it look different or make it look the way you want it to look. So why don't you take a moment right now and under your Insert tab, find your clip art. Go ahead and push your clip art, and it's going to bring up that box to the right of your document, and just type in something you're interested in. Maybe you want pictures of dogs, maybe you want pictures of hearts, maybe you want pictures of computers. Whatever it is, type it in there and hit go, and it's going to pull up a bunch of options for you that you can scroll through. And by double-clicking on that option you want, it's going to put it into your document, and it's also going to give you that Picture Tools tab now that we didn't have before. So, and that tab will come up every time you click on a picture that's in your document. So when you click on a picture, you're automatically going to get this Picture Tools format tab. So you can play around with that also. So let's take a look at the clip art, and I want you to use that Picture Tool format. So moving down on our Insert tab, we've done the pictures, we've done the table, we've done clip art. Now we're going to talk a little bit about shapes. And shapes are really fun to work with, and that's what I used for all the arrows that you see in our PowerPoint today, or actually in the video. All those arrows I created using the Shapes function of Microsoft Office. So you're going to go to that Insert tab, go ahead and click on that, and you're going to go to your Shapes function. And once you push that, you can see to the right, it's going to give you a big menu of a bunch of different shapes that you can choose from. So you would pick a shape like indicated at that lower picture that looks like they've got a circle, an arrow. Okay, now once you push the shape, it's not actually going to just appear on your paper. You're going to have to put it there. So you would push whichever shape you want to use, and it looks like that very top picture there, they want to use a square. So they've pushed that square. And then on my Word document, I would take my mouse and I would click, and I would actually see a square being created right before my eyes just by left clicking and putting the square there. So let's take a moment right now and just kind of play around with the shapes feature under the Insert tab and see what kind of shapes we can make. Okay, so if you liked inserting the shapes and kind of playing around with the different shapes by pushing it under the Insert tab and clicking on that shapes and using our left click on our mouse to create the shapes, then you're really going to love Word Art. Word Art is very fun, and it just makes your paper look very colorful, and depending upon what kind of look you're looking for, it could make it look very formal as well. So under that same Insert tab, we have a feature called Word Art. And if you click on the Word Art button, you're going to get another menu just like anything else. And it works best if you have something already typed. So why don't you use a document, or the document that you've already created for this class today, and I want you to highlight an area of it, go to Insert, click on Word Art, and just pick some of those features. And you're going to see those words changing It's also going to give you a feature to just be able to change the way it looks all the way together. We're not going to go into this a whole lot, but the word art can really be fun if you're using it the way you want to be. So take a moment now and just go under the Insert tab to Word Art and just play around with either the paragraph you've already created, or you can make another one just to go with this and use that Word Art function. Go ahead, give it a try. Being able to use that Insert tab was really fun, wasn't it? Being able to create your letters in different functions, making the shapes, using word art, shapes, clip arts, and everything like that. So we're going to move on a little bit deeper into Microsoft Word now, and we're going to learn how to spell check and grammatically check our documents. Microsoft Office has this great feature that when words that you have typed are not in their dictionary, or it just doesn't seem right to them in some kind of a way, then they will let you know that. And there's two ways that they let you know that. One way is by the green squiggly underline, and the other one is the red squiggly underline. So as we can see to the picture to the left, we're going to spell check this document. And the way that we would do that would be to go to our Review tab, which is shown there, and then you're going to hit Spelling and Grammar, okay? Because we notice within our document that we have these green and we have these red squiggly lines. That means that we need to grammatically fix this or fix the words themselves. Okay, so as soon as you push that spelling and grammar, it's going to get started. It's going to immediately, as you can see to the right, it's going to pull up this window and it's going to start with the first word that it comes to. And in this situation, the first word that it comes to is insert. So by hitting that spelling and grammar button, this box is going to pop up and it's going to show you in red what the word is that they're trying to fix, and then it's going to give you suggestions down below of what you might want to put there instead, because it's just not really making sense. It's not in their dictionary. Now, keep in mind that Microsoft Word can only go so far. So if you've put something in there and you know it to be correct, and what I mean by that is maybe a street address or something like that, where maybe Microsoft Word just doesn't recognize it, then on that situation, then you would just hit ignore. You wouldn't change anything when that box comes up. You would just hit ignore once, and it'll move on to the next word that is underlined with whatever it's underlined with. So this is the spell check and grammar and the way that it works. It shows you clearly in this document the words that are not noticed in Microsoft Office, or the grammatical errors, which means that it's not grammatically correct. Maybe it's missing a comma, maybe the period's in the wrong place, maybe the word phrasing isn't correct. You've used a past tense instead of a present tense. So that is what the spell check does, and it goes through each word. Now, if you're not finding a word that you want to replace it with, it's just not showing it to you the way you want, you can actually, because with that box you're also going to get a cursor, and the cursor is indicated with that red circle that I've put around it. You're also going to get a cursor. You can actually use your backspace button and take out those letters and put in whatever word it is, typing it in manually, and hit change for that to be effective if you're not finding the words that you want. If you are finding the words in the suggestions below, you would just click on the word you want to replace, and then you would hit change. And once you do that, it's going to automatically change that word to whatever you asked it to do. Or if you're manually changing the word by backspacing it out and retyping it. So right now I want you to go under your Review tab, because that's where you're going to find this function. And with the document that you've already created, or maybe you want to start a new one for this activity, I want you to spell check and grammatically check your document. And I want you to deliberately misspell words and things to that effect, using different tenses. Don't put your commas in and things like that. Maybe double, extra spaces between the words. so you can see the errors themselves before spell check goes to correct them. So go ahead right now and minimize this or pause this video and give spell check a try. It's super fun, super easy, and it really benefits you as far as getting your information out. A lot of people will change their items as they go instead of just doing a spell check feature at the end. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's just a preference type of thing. So, and just again, I'm just going to let you know again to keep in mind that Microsoft Word also is not perfect. So if you are knowing that the word you're spelled is correct and they're not recognizing it, it's okay. You can go ahead and just hit that ignore button instead of trying to change something. So go ahead and go under your review button right now and check out spell check and grammar. I hope you had fun working with the spell check and grammar feature under the review tab in Microsoft Word. I just wanted to bring up another slide to show you a little bit more about that spell check and grammar so you get a better understanding of it. This top left picture shows us that these words are not in the dictionary of Microsoft Word. The bottom picture that says Andy Smith, those are all grammatically incorrect statements because they're green squiggly lined, which means that there's something wrong with them and something needs fixed. So these are just kind of examples to show you what you can be looking for when you're doing your spell check or when you're typing your papers. And if you get these lines, that's what it is. And once you're completed with your spell check, and you've probably already realized this, but a box like this picture to the right will come up and let you know that your spell check is completed. So it makes it very easy and it's very handy. And this is just another slide for some examples of how to use the spell check and what to be looking for. So up to this point, we have really dug into Microsoft Word and a lot more of the tabs and the functions of the tabs and things to that effect. So I'm really hoping that you're getting a better understanding. Throughout this whole class, I've been telling you to not worry about anything you do because everything you do can be undone. And that's what brings us to our next part of the class, which is going to be your undo and your redo buttons that are located at the top left of your Microsoft Word document. And that's in your quick access toolbar, which is at the top there. And what's great about these buttons is when you type something, just randomly typing, and you can do this with the document that you've already been kind of playing around with class today. And if you push that undo button, it's going to take away whatever the last thing was that you did to that document. If you push it again, it's going to take away the step before that you did. It's going to take that part away. It's just going to keep undoing it as many times as you push it. It's going to keep undoing it until there's nothing left for it to undo. So you're back to a blank document that you started with. Okay? Now let's say you've gone through all that and you've undone what you don't want and you've decided, you know what? I don't want to have to retype all this. I'm just going to go ahead and redo what I've already done. And by pushing that redo button, that's going to put everything back onto your document that you had on there prior. So by pushing the undo, it's going to take it all away, and pushing the redo, it's going to put it all back and in exactly the order that you did the document to begin with. So why don't you take a moment right now and pause this video and go to your document that you have right now and just kind of play around with that undo button and that redo button, and you can push those because anything that you do on Microsoft Word can be undone or redone. You cannot mess up anything. Now, once you save a document, it's obviously saved at that point. So you would not be able to undo or redo a saved document unless you've edited it and done something to it to make it different to where you would be able to use the undo and the redo feature. But with what we've done today, you haven't saved a document. It's all there for you. And if you push the undo and the redo button, you're going to see right before your eyes how that text is going to disappear, how it's going to come back. Maybe you still have your word art. It's going to show you how it's going to take that away, and it could bring you back. So this right now, we are going to talk about the undo button and the redo button. So go ahead right now and pause the slideshow or minimize this video and go into your document and just kind of play around with that undo and that redo button. Go ahead. You cannot mess anything up, I promise you. Well, I want to congratulate you for getting to the end of class. This is going to be the last thing that we're going to talk about. You've definitely worked hard, and you deserve to have a break today for sure. That document that we've been working on, we definitely don't want it to go away. We want to do something with it. So we're actually going to save our document so that maybe later on, when we're not watching class, we can just kind of go back into Word and we can just play around with our document a little bit. So we definitely don't want to lose it. We want to save it. So there is actually two save features, and it's indicated in that top left button. You either have your save or you have your save as. Save as lets you know that, hey, I've created a new document and now I need to save it as something. I need to rename this and save it as something. Okay, so if we go to our office button, which is indicated by that circle, or maybe you have a file button, just depending on the version you have, and you push that, you're going to get a menu down. And that's that same menu we used earlier to create a new document, except now we're going to save the document we've been working on throughout class today. So go ahead and push Save As, and when you do that, another box is going to come up, which is indicated in that lower box in the middle there, and it's going to ask you for a file name, which I have circled there for you so you can see where you're going to put it in. And for their file, they named it Library Letter. So let's go ahead and name ours Library Letter also. So you're going to type in Library Letter, and at the bottom of that box is a Save button. Go ahead and click that Save, and now your document is saved as Library Letter, and it's in My Documents. Now, the way that you would retrieve this letter or go back in and find it is by going to your Start menu. Going into that Start menu, and then you're going to push on Computer, and that's probably to the right if you're working with XP or Windows 7. If you have Windows 8, you would use your Charmed feature, which is going to be all the way to the right. By just putting your mouse over to the right, it's going to bring up these features, and within that feature you have a Start menu. And by clicking that, you can get into Computer, and when you push Computer, you're going to get your libraries. That's what's going to come up under your libraries, and then you'll see My Documents, or it'll say just Documents. By clicking on that, you're now going to see your library letter that you just saved. So now you've got a document you've been working on all through class, and now you have saved it as a library letter in My Documents in your computer, and it's ready for you to do something with later if you wish to do that. Okay? So, how does save work then? You're asking, I'm sure. So you're going to go in and you're going to retrieve, or actually you probably still have your document up because it didn't really go away. It's still sitting there because you didn't close it. So you can either go into your documents, which is through your computer in your Start menu, and open up your letter that you saved, or go ahead and just use the one that's still on your screen right now and edit it. Do something different to it. Maybe put your name at the bottom, or take out a line, or fix something about it, or just edit it and change it, okay? And when you do that, if you're wanting to keep that version saved as library letter, then you would just click the Save feature, and it's going to automatically save it to the file that you already created. All right, and you can do that by either hitting that Office button and going down to where it just says Save, or your File button, or you can actually hit that same picture which is up there by your Undo and your Redo button. You can push that and it's going to do the same thing. It saves. And what's nice about Microsoft Word is if you take your mouse and you stroll it over the different tabs, it tells you what all those functions do. So if you just put it on top of that, it's going to tell you that that's a Save button, and you can push it and it's going to save it as library letter. But let's say that that library letter that you started with, you want to keep it the way it was, and you know, the changes that you made, you want that to be a different document. You don't want it to be under that same file name. So in order to do that, you would just do the original thing And that's going to the Save As and placing it as something else. I'm going to save it as something different. So I'm going to go into my Office or my File button, and I'm going to push that, and I'm going to go down to Save As, and I'm going to get this box again, which is probably going to have my library letter document in it when it pops up. And this time I'm going to label it Library Letter 2 or Library Letter Edited. So now I've got my original library letter that I started with, and I have my library letter that I edited or I did something different with. And this would be good if you are typing letters and you need to change the date, but you don't want to retype the whole thing and you want to keep your original, and every week the letter has to be generated. So you could go in and change the date and resave it as that date if you wanted to, and then you've always got your original as kind of like a template to do fill-ins on. So this is Save and Save As. It's not very complicated. I would want you at this time to either create a new document or go ahead and open up your library letter that we saved and just go in and edit it, try resaving it. And again, you can't do anything to mess anything up. You know, this is all at your pace. This is your document and what you're doing to it. So just kind of play around with Microsoft Word. You just have some fun, because it really can be fun. It doesn't need to be stressful. So go ahead and give it a try right now of trying your Save and your Save As features. And this is going to conclude our class. So I hope you had a good time, and I hope that you will be using Microsoft Word in the future. I want to thank you for being a part of the Microsoft Word experience, and if you have any questions for me about this class or anything in general that has to do with computer classes or computers, or you have suggestions for classes, please email me at this address below, understanding.computers@yahoo.com, and I will get back with you as soon as I can. Again, you need to give yourself a pat on the back. You did a fantastic job. This class is not the easiest, and although we do it at your pace, it can sometimes get a little overwhelming, so you definitely deserve a break today. So go ahead and you take that break right now, and thank you so much for being a part of Microsoft Word Basic Intermediate. This class could not have taken place without the information and the images provided to you by the following websites listed within this video. If you get time, go ahead and type some of these websites in on your browser or your search engine inside of your internet, and they have some great references for you. So again, thank you to these providers for allowing this class to happen.